one summer when I was growing up and my mom worked part-time, and so we'd have to go to this family friend's house for the day. My brother was the oldest, and then they had another older boy, then me, and then a younger boy. And the younger boy was obviously lame, so I always wanted to play with the older boys. I remember in their backyard, they had this amazing tree house. It had a ladder that was nailed to the tree and a bucket to pull up stuff to the fort. It was awesome. But I was never allowed to go in because I was told that I was too young. And honestly, it was pretty heartbreaking to my little elementary school self. I wonder if you've ever felt that way before, if someone told you that you were too young, if you've ever been waiting for an opportunity to do something awesome, waiting until you're old enough or tall enough to ride the good rides, old enough to take your driver's tests or stay out past curfew, old enough to make your own rules. You know, it's hard to wait to be old enough. But one thing you don't have to wait for is being part of the church. You hopefully hear us say you are the church pretty often. And over the next 4 weeks in D Group, we want to unpack what that phrase really means. So in order to take a deeper dive into this phrase, you are the church, I think we need to first define the church. In short, the church is all the body of believers, all of the people who have put their faith in Jesus Christ. So church refers to Chapelstreet Church, yes, of course, but that's only a piece of it. Our church is part of the church. In Greek, the word for church is ekklesia. It translates to the called out ones. So what does it mean to be called out? We are different from the world. We're called out to reflect Jesus. So when we say you are the church, it means that you are the ones who have been called out. You are part of the assembly of believers. So naturally, I think the next question is, what do you have to contribute? See, if you're part of these called out ones, this church, what is the role that you play? I wonder if for some of you, you might have a bit of a barrier here, like you're waiting until you're old enough to really feel like you have something to contribute. Like there are some things in church that you can do and plenty more that you have to wait for. But when we say you are the church, we mean that you are the church now, not just the church of the future. You're not waiting to reach a certain age to be part of the church. You know, of course, in life, there will always be age barriers for certain roles or responsibilities. You can't be a mission trip leader yet, even though many of you seniors would love that chance. Your age will prevent you from certain roles and certain responsibilities. That's a normal and healthy part of life. I can't be president yet, so that's a thing. But here is a subtle yet important distinction. While your age might keep you from certain jobs or responsibilities, it does not make your role in the church any less significant, because there are things that only you can contribute, and the church desperately needs those things. You know, one of the most famous Bible verses about being young comes from 1 Timothy. And this is basically a letter that Paul is writing to a guy named Timothy. And Paul was a leader of the early Christian church. And so he goes on these missionary journeys where he plants new churches. And Timothy is a young leader who has been left in charge of a church. And so in this letter, Paul is writing to encourage him and give him advice on a few specific situations. And this letter is part of our Bible. And this is what Paul has to say about Timothy's youth. 1 Timothy 4:12. Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. Don't let your age stop you from setting an example, from being a called out one. You know, I want to get really practical on this for a second. And I want to really talk with how you guys as teenagers at our church are setting an example already. You as students bring excitement and passion and energy that the older people seriously love to see. You know, a few of us had the opportunity to spend time with a Sunday school class of, well, let's just say it, mostly senior citizens. And they loved so much hearing the stories of how you guys get to be the hands and feet of Jesus on our summer missions trips. They love supporting you doing the work that they can't really do anymore. In the lobby, in worship, all around our church, you guys are increasing the energy level and making people excited to be at church. And the place I probably see you setting the best example is serving. From our adventures at Carroll Tower to Adventure Club and 56 and Chapelstreet Kids and M Club and Buddy Break and every other ministry event that you all support in serving, high school students are paving the way in meaningful serving opportunities inside and outside our church. It makes a huge difference. It is noticed. In fact, we're always coordinating our schedules with special needs and children's ministries because you are all so crucial to what those ministries can do that we don't want to conflict with that. And I love getting to watch that. I love seeing all of you setting an example in the way you live, your hearts for service. So tonight, I just want to encourage you all. You are the church. You are the church now. You are the called out ones, and you're already setting an example. You're already causing the adults around you to notice the work that you're doing. You're embodying love and faith in the world. That's what it means to be the church.
This day's been great.
I feel like when you get your teeth cleaned, they make the gaps between your teeth bigger.
More food gets stuck.
And more food gets stuck.
Let me keep that plaque.
Yeah. Give me my plaque. Oh, wow, that's a huge piece of kale. It's massive. This is what I'm saying. Give me my plaque so I don't have to worry about this kind of stuff.